Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the morning show. Well, we gotta get into it. We gotta get into these Bills, these Chiefs, Commanders, Eagles. Share our thoughts, insight, and we're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it down as we get into it. Shout out to the Wrench Gang. Shout out to the family, all the listeners, all the watchers. It is Monday, January 27th, 2025. And the Chiefs will be heading to the Super Bowl along with the Philadelphia Eagles as we get into this one. I want to get into the press conference here with Alan from last night, and then we'll break it down.
Josh, to come up short again, what are your emotions right now?
It's not fun. But to beat the champs, you gotta to beat the champs, you gotta beat the champs, and we didn't do it tonight.
Can you take me through the fourth down play there and the pressure?
Yeah, they gave a good look. Didn't see anything in my first cadence. We were sliding left. Corner came. Yeah. Yeah, you can either get it done or you can't, and we didn't get it done.
So let me just stop it here for a minute. This is really tough to watch. You know, you can obviously tell that Allen doesn't want to be there. Body language. Obviously, it's a tough loss. You know, for me looking at this, it's one of those situations where it's like, Allen, keep your head high, man. Keep your head high. You went out there, you tried your best. And, it's a team game. It's a team game, so this isn't all on you. We're going to get into the coaching. We're going to get into the defense. There's a lot that goes into this. And so, for Allen to be hanging his head down, I think, he needs to keep his chin up as, it just doesn't look good. I don't like the body language. I think he's putting a lot of this on himself as we keep it going.
Huge joke. He's played his ass off all year and made plays today. Curtis made plays. Guys made some plays today. We got to make one more and score one more point than them, and we didn't do that tonight.
What did they do on the third and one, fourth and one plays to stop those out against you?
They got big guys in there. They played it well.
Josh, how much was just a lot of today failed execution on things that you guys were able to execute on in the season?
That's hard to tell right now until we watch it. I'm not quite sure, but the result is a loss, and so to answer your question, not good enough.
So, at this point, we're just going to move on from this. This is probably one of the worst press conference that Josh Allen's been in, and you could definitely tell that he's visually frustrated. You could definitely tell that he's at the point now where he's looking at this like, it was my job to go out there and do it, and I couldn't execute. But I'll tell you this: when I went back and look at some of the moments in the game, I went back and look at a lot of the decision making from play calling to coaching. Once again, you're playing in this game, and you've now find yourself playing to not lose instead of to go out there and win. And so for Josh Allen, it really sucks. It does, because it puts things into perspective as far as what he's been able to do up until this point. Because I look at Josh Allen and I say, okay, stepping out on that field in this game, and as significant as it is, Joe Brady needed to bring in a different caliber of game planning, a different play scheme into this game. Everything that you utilized in the season up until this point absolutely worked. It was great. It worked out. But guess what? It's now been studied. It's now been broken down. It's now been put into the game plan of the defense to know what to expect. So if you still go with that same kind of conservative game plan into the situation in the AFC Championship, you're not going to win it. The close game scenario was not going to work for the Bills. And I said that in the prediction video. If you go back and watch it, word for word, you don't want to get into a one-possession game with the Chiefs or you're going to lose. This was the reality of it. The Bills needed to have at least a 10-point lead getting into the fourth quarter to have a chance at winning. And making it into a one-possession game, leaving it in the refs' hands, led into the situation. And so obviously this morning I woke up and I had to read into, all the complaints about the refs and this missed call and that missed call. Once again, if you score the points, if you get down the field and you move the ball to put up the points, then you don't have to worry about the refs and you don't have to worry about what's going to happen in a one-possession game. Now, I'm going to move further down the road here. Kincaid had the opportunity to catch that ball, and it eerily reminded me of that same situation that Stephon Diggs was in. It was just utterly gross, stomach-wrenching to see that happen, and it was like the same kind of situation. So when are we going to look at people failing Josh Allen opposed to Josh Allen failing the team? Because I don't think he did. I think Allen put it all out on the field. His defense didn't help him. Wide receivers didn't step up when they needed to. This is the difference between a championship team and a team that is barely going to make it every time. This is the difference. So when you have individuals who can't go out there and that you can't really rely on to go make that play, well, guess what? I don't think that should have been called for Kincaid. Maybe you wanted to put that ball in Cooper's hands. Maybe you should have designed up the play for Cooper. Or hell, maybe even Samuel. These guys have a little bit more experience later in the game with handling a good ball. And I'm not saying that Kincaid shouldn't be the man to catch the ball. What I'm saying is, you maybe in that play, you want to put somebody in there who has a little bit more veteran experience than Kincaid. And that boils down to Joe Brady dialing up the plays and not figuring out who to utilize when it matters the most. But let's go ahead and get into the chat. Shout out to you, Sassy. Good morning. Good morning. Popcorn says, damn, it sucks to be a Buffalo Bills fan. Not really. DJ James says, good morning. Looks like I got the answer to my question. It's the Eagles who will be facing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We got that question answered yesterday. Calandian says, as a Dolphins fan, I still like Josh Allen, and I think they should have won. Would have preferred to see Bills-Eagles. It was there for the taking. The Chiefs have not put up more than 31 points almost all season. And I said it. I said, hey, the Chiefs can't put up 30 points. And what did they do? They went and put up 32 against the Bills defense. So when you look at the offensive opportunities, when you look at the defense, Bernard going out, Milano made a couple good plays. Where was Von Miller? Where was the real pressure that was needed on Mahomes that we didn't see until the second half? I'm preaching about it in the first half. We don't see it happen until the second half when Kansas City had the momentum. Even when the Bills were up, I think it was 3 points or 5 points, whatever it was, Kansas City still had the momentum because you couldn't stop Kansas City. There was no pressure on Mahomes until it was too late. Instead of bringing that pressure early on in the game, you choose to, okay, now we got to bring it. Now that we're down in the depths and we don't have control of the game, well, we have to bring the pressure now. No, the pressure was supposed to be at snap one, not at the tail end of the game. Because when we seen that happen, that's when the sacks came. That's when the pressure came. That's when the incompletions came. And so once again, we're going to have to sit back and ask ourselves, why wasn't the coach? Why weren't the coaching team? Why wasn't the coaching team in synchronized? Why weren't they synchronized? Why weren't they ready to go? Why didn't they have this defense ready? Why didn't they change things up as far as the play scheme heading into this championship game? Why was Josh Allen still playing conservative? And to break it down even further, and some people are going to get mad about this, where was the fight in Josh Allen? We can talk about talent. We can talk about wanting to win. We could talk about all of that. Where was the fight in Josh Allen? Where was the passion? Where was the going out there and firing up your wide receivers? Where was the going over there and talking to your defense and firing them? Where was that? We've seen it out of Tom Brady, holding people accountable. We see it out of Patrick Mahomes, holding people accountable. There is a different level of having that killer instinct to go out there and win. We see it out of Patrick Mahomes. We've seen it out of Tom Brady. We've seen it out of Peyton Manning. When is Josh Allen going to get that killer instinct? When it matters the most. Not during the regular season. We don't give a damn about the regular season. AFC East champions, fine, that's great. Do you want to be an AFC East champion every year, or do you want to be a Super Bowl champion? Which matters the most? Where is the killer instinct? When is that going to happen? It's great to have talent. It's great to want to win, but there's a difference between those who want to win and those who actually have it in them to go get it. It's a big difference, and we're seeing it time and time again. There's going to be a lot of people who are so okay with going the easy route. Well, he did his best. Did he have the will to go out there and get the win? Because I'll tell you this, trying to pick up 1 yard 3 times in a row and it doesn't work, maybe as a quarterback I should change it up because they've been stopping me. Maybe, yeah, Joe Brady and Sean called in the play, but let me audible out of this and figure something else out. Where was the drawing of the offsides? We didn't see much of the hard count last night. Did anybody else see it? You know, I'll bring up somebody. Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, if he needs a yard and they go out there in a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, they'll switch it up, getting that shotgun. He'll start getting all animated. Hurry up, get me the ball. Hurry up, get me the ball, to try and jump off, make the defense jump off sides. We didn't see none of that last night. So when I say fight and when I say killer instinct, where's the animation? Where's the passion for the win? I didn't see it. I seen a Bills team that was scared and didn't want to lose instead of wanting to go out there and win. Instead of actually putting on that cape and going out there and winning. Let's try not to lose. Let's try our best to not lose. Y'all can get mad at me about it. I don't care. Y'all know I'm keeping it real. Y'all know exactly what I'm saying is right. We see it time and time again. Let me hop back in the chat. Shout out to you, Tech 713. What up, man? What's going on with you? Says the catch by Worthy was complete. Mahomes glaze. At the minimum, it was an incompletion. Should have been an interception. Well, we know whenever there's a 50-50 ball, the receiver is always going to get the benefit of the doubt. Always. Shout out to you, Agvi. Michael says, you are right. In order to beat the Chiefs, you have to run the numbers up like Philly did Washington. Without a doubt. James says, agree about the ref topics with Jay. My gripe is with the quarterback sneaks to the left on what seems every 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 down. Switch it up some. You have to switch it up. The Chiefs already know Joe Brady's game plan at this point. We've seen exactly what you did against the Broncos. We've seen exactly what you did against the Ravens. And you're going to bring the same approach to us? Oh, no. No, you're going to have to switch it up. You're going to have to create some different packages. You're going to have to throw us off guard. And I said it last week. You're going to have to let Josh Allen turn into a cowboy in this game. And what did they do? They brought that same conservative Josh Allen in the Arrowhead. And it didn't work. And for good reason. It shouldn't work because that's not the game that you need to play against Kansas City. Go back and look at the regular season game. That wasn't the same game that the Bills played against Kansas City. It was a whole different feel. It was a whole different design because they understood what it was going to take. And guess what? Now, Kansas City's got some new tools back, right? Brown in the mix, Hopkins in the mix, Pacheco, Hunt. Now you really got your work cut out for you in the defense. You can't beat the Chiefs unless you go out there and score more offensively. We knew that the Chiefs would have an issue getting to 30 points. They got 32. And what did I say? Bills needed to get 40, at least 35, in which they left points on the field by going for 2, not securing the extra points, and then obviously not taking that field goal when they should have, which that's another story. There's just a lot. There's a lot. There's multiple different ways you can break it down. But to me, I think that the biggest problem is Josh Allen finding that killer instinct, finding that will to win instead of not wanting to lose. And until that's fixed, until he gets that and that clicks in his mind and in his spirit on that field, you're going to keep running into this door. You're going to keep running into this door, and you're not going to be able to break through it, just like how you kept running into that wall, and they kept doing it, and you couldn't get through. 1 yard. 1 yard changes the whole game. And we're going to keep trying to use Josh Allen instead of going back to Ray Davis or going back to James Cook, who the Chiefs were having such a problem with, but we're going to completely abandon the run with 3 minutes and some change left and 3 timeouts in the fourth quarter down by 3. Let's completely abandon the run and start throwing the ball. Why? Why are we throwing the ball when we have a great running back who the Chiefs have had a tough time with? We've got all 3 timeouts. We've got more than enough time to run that clock out. Even if you don't get into the end zone, you kick a field goal, you take it to overtime, but you completely abandon the run. You're trying to throw the ball, and you end up getting into a 4-and-out situation, turnover on downs. You don't even give your running back a chance to move the ball. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. Make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up as we keep it going. Shout out to you, Carl. Good morning. Good morning. Shout out to you, Cypher. What's going on with you, man? Fuentes, this is BS. We breaking it down. Shout out to you, Grace. Let's go. Says my only gripe is on the refs is the marking of the Kincaid Knox catch marked short and the next play not being marked correctly. Well, how about the fact of the flag being thrown when Josh Allen threw that ball in the air and Josh Allen getting popped and laid out on the field? Now, y'all know I told y'all I was not going to have any conversation about the refs. I was not going to say anything about the refs in regards to this game because, like I said in the prediction video, if you were going to make this a one-possession game, be prepared to lose because you weren't going to get any favors. They weren't going to give you anything. You had to go out there and earn it. So if you expected the refs to give you anything in a one-possession game, you didn't deserve to win. You had to go out there and put up the points needed to win. That's the bottom line. I don't care about the refs and what they may have got right and what they probably didn't get wrong. I don't care about that. What I care about is you not putting up 40 to 35 points because that's what you needed to win. And I think completely abandoning the run at the end of the fourth quarter, I think that was your biggest downfall. Because if it wasn't there for Allen, they knew that you were going to bring him down to get that 1 yard. So you should have mixed it up. and this is where Andy Reid, where we have to start giving the Chiefs credit now. This is where Andy Reid has been so masterful. We know what you're going to do, and we're going to jam that box. You want to use Allen? All right, we going to jam that box. Because you think that he's Superman all the time. We know he's Superman sometime, but he ain't going to be Superman all damn time. He not going to be Superman all the damn time. You're going to have to mix it up. You want to get this first down. And you wanted to keep going to him. Maybe play the team ball that you were playing in that moment. And you get the first down. And maybe you get down the field. Or maybe not even go for the 1 yard. Maybe throw the ball deep. Get a 50-50 ball. Now it's a whole different conversation then, right? You cannot be predictable. And that's what Joe Brady was in this game. Very predictable. Shout out to Coach. Shout out to you, says I also saw a defense that couldn't stop the Chiefs, who didn't score 30 points all year. More blame to be put on that defense, without a doubt. We haven't even broken to the defense. Where's Von Miller? Where's Von Miller at? All that hype, all that talking. He feels good. Wanting to bring Super Bowl to the Bills, to Buffalo. Where's Von Miller? We've seen Phillips step up. We've seen Oliver step up. Nobody brought the pressure until it was absolutely too late. And then you run into the situation of where the hell was the spy for Patrick Mahomes all game? You guys are so focused on Kelsey and Hopkins and Brown. So, all right, well, we're just going to leave Patrick Mahomes the ability to run for 10, 11 yards each time when he needs it because nobody's there. The middle of the field's wide open. What are you doing? So, you know, you can even break down the situation with the Bishop and Worthy, you know, ball almost hitting the ground and, you know, it being called a catch. All right, Bishop, if you're not sure that you've got that ball, punch that shit out. Like, if you sure you ain't got this ball, deflect it out of there. That is worthy of rookie. Knock that damn ball out of his hands. That way there's no discrepancy as far as him having control. These are the decisions. These are the moments that define how these games are going to go. And once again, that set up a good opportunity for the Chiefs to score, and they did. You have to limit their opportunities and maximize yours. And once again, we know that Andy Reid is a hell of a coach, and that is exactly what he did. Maximize the opportunities to score and shut down the Bills when they needed it the most. And how about Patrick Mahomes playing his game? It doesn't have to change. I'm still going to go to the well when I need to. I'm going to find Kelsey. All right, I'm going to get Brown involved now. Oh, the rookie that you guys passed up on because you didn't think he was worth it. Oh, you didn't want that speed? Oh, we're going to use the speed. We found ourselves Tyreek Hill 2.0. We don't need Tyreek Hill to come back. We got Worthy now. You guys didn't want him. We're going to use him for you. Don't worry. And now Worthy is now in a position of getting a Super Bowl ring his first year. How unbelievable is that? How effective was Coleman? Right? Everybody said that I was wrong. I didn't know what I was talking about when I said I thought Worthy would be a better pickup. Oh, we got what we wanted, Jay. We needed the bigger receiver with the hands. How effective was Coleman in the game? Y'all want to get into it? Let's get into it. Where was Coleman? We talk about situational football and people needing to step up when it mattered the most. You've had all season to grow. You've had some decent catches. You've had some drops. The conversation was Coleman would be a better fit for Buffalo and be more effective than Worthy. That was the conversation they was having. Where was Coleman? What happened? Let me get back into the chat. Good Flop says the Bills didn't run the ball enough in the first half. Cook touched the ball 4 times in that first half. Cook should have been utilized at least once more, maybe twice to pick up the 1 yard needed. I would have preferred to see a screen. to cook. If he can't get it, I could live with that, especially after Josh Allen couldn't get it 2 times. C. Rose says Bills have the ability to retool this offseason. That was a rebuild year. They did a great job. So how many more years do you think you have to get to the AFC Championship? Because the competition's not getting worse. The competition's getting better. Right? Sure, Justin Herbert, right, out in the first round. Bo Nix out in the first round. Russell Wilson out. CJ Stroud out in the divisional. Well, what happens next year? You think Joe Burrow ain't getting back to the playoffs? What happens with the Lions next year? You don't think the Lions getting back to the playoffs? Well, we're on the AFC now, but you don't think these individuals who had a tough year this year ain't getting back to the playoffs? You don't think CJ Stroud going to be back next year when his wide receiver's at full health? What's going to happen with all these other teams that actually will have their players back and ready to go? What's going on with the Jags? What they going to do next year? What's going on with the Bears now? What they going to do next year? Everything changes next year. So your window and your moment is when you have it. Well, maybe next year. What if there ain't no next year? What if you out in the first round next year? Then what? How long do you have to make it happen? Well, Peyton Manning didn't get it until... Listen, Josh Allen ain't Peyton Manning. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson's Lamar Jackson. What's going to happen with Lamar Jackson? You think Lamar Jackson going to keep just getting to the divisional and or one AFC championship? You think he going to stay there? No. He want to get to a Super Bowl too. So I'll tell you this. Yes, it's going to be a fight between these teams. We understand, like I said, the talent and the heart of Josh Allen. We get it. I will never take away anything from Josh Allen. Love the guy. But he doesn't have that killer instinct yet. He doesn't have that will in him to will the team to victory. And yeah, you can say that the defense sold him out, but sure. When it came down to the 1 yard, who was that on? Josh Allen. You have the ball in your hand. You can change the play. You can dial it up. You have your destiny in your hand at that point. Can you will yourself to get across this field to score? Shout out to you, Jason. Because I also saw a defense that, yeah, I already got that. Shout out to you, Coach. Shout out to you, Lori. Says the Bills need to come out with big secrets, plays no one's seen, change it up. When you go with that same approach, it's going to get stopped. Tyrone says, not for nothing, the Kincaid drop was huge. It was just like the Stephon Diggs drop. History repeating itself. Defense is weakened by the injuries to 2 starters in the secondary. Hurt big time in the first half especially, but the Bills could not stop KC. So what does that mean? We need to score, right? You beat Kansas City in the regular season. You beat the Lions in the regular season. You need to score. And like I said, for me, I think Josh Allen was nervous at the beginning of the game. The drop snap showed me a lot. These games can't become bigger than you. You have to be bigger than the game. And for me, I look at Josh Allen, I'm like, man, you've already been here. This is your moment. You should be ready. And, looking in his eyes, looking in his face, it's almost like the deer in the headlights look like, man, like you should be ready. You should feel comfortable in this moment. I get it's a big moment, but you've been here before. It's not your first time. And with this team, I just thought I would see a little bit more as far as confidence and Josh Allen in this game. You got to rebuild if you're 0-4 in the playoffs. Coach says, sounds like Brady McDermott is the ones who need to be questioned more than Allen to me. I mean, Allen hasn't turned the ball over versus the Chiefs in the last 4 games. It's not Allen. And I said that earlier, right? When you start looking at the play designs and you start looking at having this defense ready, that's going to fall on Joe Brady and McDermott. So, so you said that they felt the refs, the play calling was conservative. You said that you felt the refs play call. No, I felt like I think the refs got it right. Listen, I told y'all before, I wasn't coming out here today with anything about the refs. That is a cop-out to me. Every time a team loses, the people want to go start and point fingers at the refs. Did you execute when you needed to? Did you leave points on the field? Let's talk about that. Remove the refs from the conversation. Did you leave points on the field? Yes. Did you execute when you needed to? No. So let's leave the refs out of the conversation. Because once again, if you were going to leave it up to the refs in a 1-possession game, you might as well just walked off the field and waved the white flag because you knew you weren't going to get it anyways. So why would we have the ref conversation and even debate it? It's a cop-out. You didn't play your best game. You were out-coached. Leave it there because the refs don't matter. That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. James says 1 yard to go multiple times and same play ran. Zyver says back to what you said about having someone in that has more experience. Where was Knox instead of Kincaid? I would have taken Samuel. I would have taken Cooper. I would have taken Knox. Hell, give it to Shakir. I just feel like having a little bit more of a veteran presence in such a big moment where you absolutely need someone to catch the ball probably shouldn't have been Kincaid. If Cooper drops that ball, all right. If Samuel drops that ball, all right. Kincaid, it's a little tough because I feel like you're putting him in a big moment. You're putting him in a big moment where you need it all. And that's where we talk about the execution. I think Knox would have been great for that, for sure. So, you think the Raiders ain't getting in the playoffs next year? We'll see. Tom Brady's running the show down there, so we'll see. We'll see. Daddy Nowski, house and the farm. That's cool. I see you got the house and the farm going. What you know about them? What you know about Nvidia this morning? You ain't put the house and the farm on Nvidia. Yeah. Let's talk about that. You want to talk about the house and the farm? You ain't put the house and the farm on Nvidia this morning. You wasn't in no put contracts for that. We got to eat always. We got to eat in all ways. James says, "Is it sad, Jay? I'm hoping for a 3-peat now." You ain't want to get to this side of the conversation, did you? You ain't want to get to this side of the conversation. I want Kansas City to win. Why would you say that, Jay? Because if you beat the Bills, go get the damn Super Bowl. If you beat the Bills, go get the Super Bowl. It would be a crying shame for Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl and then lose after you beat the Bills. You might as well keep it in the AFC. So go get it, Chiefs. Might as well. Would I be mad if the Eagles won? Hell no. But what I'm saying is, if you beat the Bills to get to the Super Bowl, go get the trophy. Keep it in the AFC. It says, but sometimes it doesn't seem as though the coaches are taking away any education in these losses. Listen, when you go with the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mantra, and you've got a legendary coach on the other side of you who's playing chess when you're obviously playing checkers still. this is what happens. Ramon says Bills wide receiver room was sus all year. Go get T. Higgins. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see Josh Allen have a couple of veteran wide receivers that he can rely on who aren't divas. Superstars, not just, journeymen or individuals that get picked up that are decent. Some actual superstars. Says DK would be a better fit. Okay. Metcalf. I don't know. I got to go back and look at DK and see where he's at as far as in his career. We're not talking prime DK. Cypher says Chiefs have to earn that win. We have a way different team than we had last time. Oh, I agree. I think Saquon Barkley is going to run down the Chiefs' throats 100%. It's going to be a hell of a game. And I know people are mad and they want to boycott Super Bowl. Boycott the Super Bowl. We're not watching it. We see this every year. People are mad. I get it. People are mad. They don't want to see Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Listen, best team wins. There's no way to go around it. Best team wins. So at the end of the day, yeah, you can be mad and you can be upset, but we heard the same stories during the Patriots run. Oh, I'm not watching it anymore. Tom Brady just keeps winning. He's a champion. If you want to be a champion, you got to beat him. You won't be a champion until you beat the champion. How are you mad about that? You can't be mad because someone's good. Go beat him. There's no way around it. It's like it's like school days. You ever had a bully? Right? You ever had a bully? And that bully either picked on you all day, pushed you up against the locker, and you went to school every day and you had to deal with that bully. Now you had two options. You either had to learn how to fight so you can beat the bully and they earn your respect, or you went and told your mom and your teacher and the principal and all that, and you had to deal with the situation from there, and then, your peers picked on you because you was a tattletale and all that. But you still didn't beat the bully. They still were a bully. So are you going to rise to the occasion and learn how to fight? Or are you going to keep getting picked on? The situation applies here as well. Are you going to beat the champions, or are you going to keep getting beat by the champions? They're champions for a reason. So, I've seen all the tears and the people upset. You will never be a champion until you beat them. Deal with it. That's the reality. That's the reality. Bills fan 1970 says, I am definitely not watching. Tyrone says, I believe that they go get some defensive players from the SEC. They'll be fine. Well, we'll get to the draft. You guys know how this goes. We'll get to the draft. Shout out to you, Chad. Says no boycotting. Don't be a baby. Sorry I said it. Listen, I'll be here for the Super Bowl. We cover all 32 teams. I just so happen to be a Bills fan, born and raised. But I love the sport. I love everything about it. You want to be a champion? Go win it. There's no crying in football. There is no crying in football. Bills fans, I'm not mad. I'm in recovery. There's a lot of people in recovery this morning. Jason, Eli did it twice. Eli had to go beat the bully. He had to go beat the bully. Y'all seen Friday? You seen what Craig had to do? He had to knock out Debo. Y'all ain't learned? Craig had to go knock out Debo. Craig got beat up a few times. He got beat up a few times. Debo was beating on everybody. Everybody was scared of Big Debo. And what Craig had to do? Craig had to go knock him out. And then he earned that respect. Daddy Nowski says, it's a movie. This is real life. It was a movie displaying real life, and you know that. I ain't telling you nothing that ain't happened in real life. Daddy Nowski mad because he had a bully. He just don't want to talk about it. You had to face that bully, Daddy Nowski. Cut it out. You know you did. Ramon says, like Ric Flair used to say, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Exactly. Ric Flair said it the best. Ric Flair, where you at? Ric Flair said it the best. To be the man, you got to beat the man. It's that simple. Corey says the quarterback sneak was a first down with Josh Allen. Once again, we get into this conversation of expecting refs to give you something when you need it. It was not going to happen. The refs were not going to give you anything, especially if you needed it. Now, if you up by 10, they would have gave you that first down. They would have gave it to you because it wouldn't have mattered. If you were up by 10 in the fourth quarter and you had the ball and you needed that first down to keep the chains moving, they would have gave it to you. But because you were down by 3, they weren't going to make it easy. See, when I hear the crying and people being upset about the refs, you're then telling me that you wanted it to be easy. The game is not designed to be easy. The game is designed for you to go out there and win. If you've played any kind of sport, basketball, football, whatever, in basketball, you got to shoot the ball so it goes in the hoop. In football, you got to drive down the field and get the ball in the end zone to score. The refs going to call penalties and they going to call flags. Does that change things as far as how the score going to go? Sometimes, yeah. But it's your job and your mission to go and score so you can win the game. And that's what it's about. Killer X, is that prediction aged well? Well, there was multiple parts of that prediction. I hope you've seen the whole thing and not just the part of the prediction that you wanted to bring up. Says lousy game from the coaches, and this wasn't Josh's dog performance. Cowboys hired Brian Schottenheimer. They did. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We got some other stuff we got to get into today. With that said, make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up as we keep it going. I'm going to wrap it up with this. It was a tough loss. We can't put everything on Josh Allen. I think Joe Brady did as best he could this season with what the Bills had. I think not changing it up and becoming predictable is what led to the demise. Also, the Bills defense, once again, letting Josh Allen down. A lot of people right now are calling for Sean McDermott's head. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. Here's a quick reality. The Pagulas are not going to let Sean McDermott go until the seats are empty. Now do with that information what you will. The Pagulas are not going to let Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane go unless the seats start turning empty. As we keep it going. Bills remind me of Craig's cousin that got his BMW snatched up and went and cried about it. Not Day-Day. Oh, man. All right. Now that we got those two out the way, how about this one? Y'all? Commanders and the Eagles. This was just ridiculous. The expectation for the Commanders in this game were so high, and I think it was probably more than what Jaden Daniels is ready for and what this team can handle. When we look at the win against the Lions, it was, I think, more so their championship game than what this was. I think they put it all on the field. That defense was physical. Everything was clicking. Everything was going. Lions obviously had some defensive issues with injuries, and I just think they weren't really ready for this kind of play scheme and this style. Now, on the flip side, Commanders coming into this one with the Eagles. Oh, you weren't ready for that run. You were not ready for what Saquon Barkley had to offer you. He told you he was coming. He showed up, and you had to sit there and watch what he had on display. When you talk about a superstar running back performance, Saquon Barkley is the epitome of that right now. You can't stop this man. He showed you, I'm going to run up and down this field, and there's nothing that you can do about it. I'm going to get 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Prepare yourselves for what's about to happen. Jalen Hurts doing his best Jalen Hurts impression and playing his best game, moving the ball around, A.J. Brown being so reliable, Smith doing his thing, Goddard, that offensive line, absolutely phenomenal. This Eagles team is ready. I know I give the Eagles some crap all the time, joking around back and forth, but when I tell you this Eagles team is ready, everything that I seen from the defense, from the offense, just clicked. The chemistry on both sides of the field. When we talk about this Super Bowl, oh, we're gonna boycott it. I'm not watching it. That's totally fine. I will be here to watch this Super Bowl because I think the Eagles are the one team that will give the Chiefs a real run for their money coming into February. Now, on the flip side, with Commanders, I am proud of Jaden Daniels. Listen, as a rookie, you've landed yourself into the NFC Championship against a Super Bowl contending team. You did a hell of a job in these playoffs, and I think you put the league on notice. And you've also brought this franchise back into the light to where you've gained yourself respect. I like it. I think it's great for the Commanders. I think it's great for this Washington team and its fans. So now you get to look forward to next year like, all right, yeah, we didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but for the Commanders, I think the Commanders are now where the 49ers were with Brock Purdy. You got something special. You got something going. Now build on that and work on it going into next year. Because once again, just like I said, as far as within the AFC, oh yeah, with the NFC, you got some competition coming, right? Brock Purdy's about to get paid. Hopefully the injuries and the situations gets fixed as far as with the 49ers. That's going to change some things up. The Vikings, Sam Darnold, he had a hell of a year. I just don't know how that's going to work out because Sam Darnold did some Sam Darnold things. Maybe he'll learn from it. I don't know. But as far as that team itself, maybe we'll see some changes in the postseason. Eagles, obviously the Eagles. You think the Lions are done? You think Dan Campbell is done? Dan Gamble is done? Hell no. There's going to be a lot of different changes next year. Packers, Jordan Love, so when we talk about next year and the NFC with the Commanders and things like that, I think they're going to fit right in nicely as far as the opportunities, and we're going to see some interesting football, without a doubt. But on to the Eagles. On to the Eagles, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Super Bowl matchup. So let's do it. Let's get into our predictions. Let's get it out the way. Chiefs, Eagles, what are your expectations for this one, right? Super Bowl caliber, defense, elite offense. I think you got that on both sides right now. I think you got that in both teams. A lot of people are mad and upset as far as the Bills losing. But I'll tell you this right now. The Bills definitely wouldn't have been able to handle that run game from the Eagles. The Bills would not have been able to handle that run game with the Eagles. So as much as people are upset, mad, angry that the Bills couldn't get it done, I think that the Chiefs will have a better opportunity as far as competing with this Eagles from a defensive standpoint. Now, on the flip side, this is where it gets wild because you've got a great offensive line for this Eagles team. So it's going to be a hell of a dogfight, I think, getting into this one as far as these Chiefs and the Eagles. The spread is going to be Chiefs favored by 2. Over-under is 49.5. Minus 130 on the money line for the Chiefs. Eagles plus 110. Get into the matchup predictor. 43.9% for the Chiefs. 56.1% for the Eagles. And, so this isn't going to be actually for this season, but let's dive into this for the postseason. I want the postseason stats. Let's get the postseason stats for 2024. All right, so postseason stats here for Mahomes. He is 34 of 51, 66 completion percentage for 422 yards. I'm jumping around here because I got to see the top here. Oh, there we go. 8.3 on the average, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Longest 49. He was sacked 5 times. Got a 79.4 QBR. And then on the rushing side of things, 18 carries for 57 yards, averaging 3.2, 2 touchdowns. Longest 15, 2 fumbles. On the flip side, let's get over to Hurts. Postseason stats. 48 of 69, 69.6% completion percentage, 505 yards, average 7.3, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, sacked 11 times. Rushing side of things, 23 carries, 122 yards. He averages 5.3, 4 touchdowns, and 0 fumbles. His long was 44. So when I look at these numbers between Mahomes and Hurts in these playoffs, advantage goes to Hurts. So what do we expect in this one, right? What do we expect in this one as far as the opportunities when it comes to the Chiefs? The ever so reliable Kelsey, right? Ever so reliable Gray, Pacheco back, Hunt. You've got a lot of opportunities for these Chiefs and Mahomes, and this coaching, and Andy Reid is going to maximize every opportunity on that field while trying to obviously get as many stops as possible. Now, the big thing for me is looking at, let me just get back here to these stats. Looking at Kansas City's points allowed. If we go back here to the full schedule and we look at the postseason points allowed, 23 for the Texans, and then, of course, 29 for the Bills. They're allowing basically about 20, what's the average on that? 26, 25 points? 26, 25 points. We get into the Eagles. Come on, Jay, get it together. Get it together. Here we go. So the same kind of situation here for the Eagles as we get into these postseason points here. 10 points, 22, 23. It's going to be a hell of a game. Both defenses allowing basically 20 points. This, as Vegas is saying, 49.5. I think it's going to be one of those low-scoring type Super Bowls, right? I think it's going to be one of those kind of situations where everyone's expecting it to be a shootout, high scoring. I don't think it's going to be that. I think this is going to be a defensive battle, momentum swinging. Who's going to make a big mistake kind of situation. We didn't have many punts in the Commanders game and the Bills game. It's going to be punt fest. Super Bowl, maybe one of those boring type Super Bowl situations, right? Who's going to make that big play? Who's going to, turn the tide type situations? And so for me, the narrative has been set, right? To beat the Chiefs, you're going to want to put up at least 35 to 40 points. Now, against this defense, they're not allowing that. They're not allowing that, right? They'll allow you to get close to 30. Bills got 29. But Kansas City loves a close game. Kansas City loves to keep you right where they want you. Close game, time possession, try to control that clock. If we get back to the Bills, we go back and look at time possession. Kansas City 29-28, Bills 30-32. And that's why this game was so close, because both teams understood we need to control the clock. We need to control the ball. Kansas City's very good at that. And the only team that was actually better than them at that was the Bills this season. This is the only team who was better than Kansas City at controlling the clock. Now, when we go look at the Eagles in that Commanders game, time possession, 30-31, 29-29. Look at that. Very close margins. So that also tells us why when we look at the Chiefs here getting into the Super Bowl, the spread is 1.5. So I think this one's going to be really, really tough to call. For me, I do think it's a coin flip. But I just have to give the advantage to the Chiefs. I do. And it's tough to say that, right? I'm a Bills fan. Y'all know that, but I keep it real. I do think Saquon's going to get off, but the Chiefs may find a way to stop him. The Chiefs may find a way to contain him. If you keep Saquon under 100 yards and Mahomes is able to go out there and do what he does, a little bit of Mahomes magic, utilize Kelsey when they need to, use him as a decoy. You get Hopkins going, you get Brown going. This Chiefs defense finds a way to shut down Brown and Smith. I think it could be, like I said, one of those low-scoring games. Kansas City keeps it close, and you end up with Bucker kicking a field goal, and Chiefs will 3-P to make history. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs by a field goal. So shout out to you, Reverend. Says, can KC contain the run, or how do they contain it? It's like, what's the suggested strategy? So I think for me, when you look at how Andy Reid coaches this team, they create chaos, right? They create chaos. And so you'll have something that looks like it's working, but it's not really working, right? Because by the time you know it, they've got you stopped. You then obviously punt the ball. Now they're gonna drive that ball. They're gonna take their time, hand it off Pacheco, hand it off to Hunt, get a nice little pass going, get Worthy going on the reverse. Keep the clock rolling. This has been the scheme that Andy Reid has used with this Chiefs team, and that's why a lot of these games have been so low scoring and close, because this is what the Chiefs want. The Chiefs don't want a high scoring game. They don't want to see 40 points on the board. They want to keep you right around 20 to 30 points because they can manage that. They can manage 20 to 30 points themselves. So if you start getting into the realm of you put up 40, well, then the Eagles have the advantage now, because that means the game isn't going in the Chiefs' way. They don't want a high-scoring game. They want a low-scoring, back-and-forth battle, defensive turns, punt, fumble. They want all that stuff. They want all the chaos. Chiefs are masters of the chaos. They want to pick. They want to fumble. They want the game to move slow so that they can control it. If the game's moving fast and the Eagles are putting up the points, well, that's when the Chiefs will have their biggest problem, and that's where the Eagles will have the advantage and can potentially win. If the Eagles put up 40 points, more power to them. They got it. But if the Chiefs can hold them to, right around 17, right around 14 for the first half, this is where the Chiefs will become most effective and most likely will control the game. And so, like I said, that's why I'm taking the Chiefs by 3. It's funny, Travis Kelce had 19 yards. Exactly. Right? Kelce is now, okay, let me take a back seat. Go ahead and throw it to Worthy and Brown and Hopkins. There's so many tools now. Everyone's back healthy. Everyone's ready to go. All right. Want to go with the run? Bring out Hunt. Bring out Pacheco. We're going to get the first downs. We're going to get the first downs. We're going to keep that ball moving. And, with the Eagles, obviously you got Jalen and you got Saquon. But for me, this Chiefs defense is very strong. And when it comes to the Super Bowl, they get even stronger. Now, on the flip side, you've got a lot in Saquon Barkley as well. I think you've got someone who's determined to not only, show the Giants organization that you screwed up royally, but to show the world that the running back exists. The running back plays a pivotal point in a team and in a franchise. And so at the end of the day, I think, this could be a breakout situation for Saquon if he can get that run really going. If he can keep it going and that defense can't stop him, he will be the key determining factor as far as the success for this Eagles team and their ability to bring the pressure on Mahomes. Right? We've seen what happened with the Bills. If I'm the Eagles, I'm looking at what the Bills got wrong and where we can be right. We seen y'all didn't bring the pressure in the first half on Mahomes. Okay, we going to bring that pressure all game. I don't care how tired we get. We bringing that pressure all game. We going to make sure we have a spy on Mahomes. He ain't going to be able to run out that backfield. He going to have to throw the ball. You make him throw the ball under pressure, he makes mistakes. If I'm the Eagles defense, that is what I'm looking at, and that's what I'm applying as far as my game plan in the Super Bowl. And we'll have to see. But as we know, it's hard to bet against Mahomes in the Super Bowl. So there you go. There you go. Shout out to Lander Josh. Is heartbroken again, man. We got to get a wide receiver and some DBs. I agree. Reverend Charles says, I think last night's game was one of the best this offseason, probably only second to the Commanders last week. Yeah, a lot of people last night were saying like that it felt kind of like a Super Bowl, right? Even with the Bills losing, it felt kind of like a Super Bowl, right? It was like the AFC's version of a Super Bowl, without a doubt. And I agree. It definitely had that feel to it. And so I think at the end of the day, you got to show, right? And even though the Bills didn't get the Super Bowl, a lot of people, like I said, mad and upset about it. I get it. For the Bills to be going up against the Eagles, I don't think they're ready for that. The Eagles are a complete team, defensively, offensively, and if you couldn't win convincingly against the Chiefs, you weren't going to beat the Eagles at all. So take that for what it's worth. The Bills, you need some superstars. I'm not saying you need a lot, but you need a couple. You need some game changers, not game managers, not people that Josh Allen has to elevate. You need some superstars. And then when it comes to the defense, Bean, I'm hoping you get it right in this draft, man. I really am. I'm really ticked. I'm more ticked off about the Worthy thing now because everyone was telling me how I was wrong and how we should have stuck with Worthy. And now it's turned out that my prediction on that was absolutely right. We should have stuck with Worthy. You needed that speed. You needed someone with good hands who can get down the field, that can make plays. And that was Xavier Worthy, not Keon Coleman. I want Keon Coleman to do good, but I just think Xavier Worthy would have been a better fit, and that's the speed that Buffalo needed, and that's the speed that Allen needed to move that ball down the field, and they gave it away to Kansas City. Gave it away. So Lander says, after all the BS, we still had what we wanted, the ball at 17's hands with little time left for a chance to win, and we couldn't do it. That's it. Without a doubt. Ward says, Bills did not play like they had been either. It's like they showed up to a Pop Warner game. I said it earlier. Josh Allen did not come out like he was ready. He did not come out like he, was focused. He looked nervous. He looked concerned. He wasn't having fun. And so when you take away that side of things, the whole situation changes. The whole vibe changes. And we talk about the spirit of a winner. Josh Allen doesn't have that in the big moment yet. He does not have that in the big moment yet. You have to have the spirit of a winner. You have to have the drive and the commitment of a winner to be one. You have to believe that you're a champion before you become one. And that's how I'm going to end it. I'm going to say that one more time. You have to believe you are a champion before you come one. And there it is. So shout out to you guys. King Early says 5 times in 7 years. Brady who? All right now. We're not going to do that. Go get 7 rings. And then we can have that conversation. But don't be bringing up Brady now. Don't be doing that. All right, y'all. Have a great day. We'll see you all tomorrow as we prepare for the Super Bowl. Chiefs and Eagles. Y'all have a great day.